The story begins at the Canada airport, where a father named Elliot is traveling with his daughter, Ridley. The two are heading to another city because Elliot has to finalize an important business deal there. Ridley is a lonely girl who doesn't have many friends. She is always bothered by the pimples on her face. After a while, their flight lands in the city they were heading to. Once they arrive, Elliot and Ridley get into a car because Elliot is already late for his meeting. On the way, Elliot thanks his daughter for coming along and tells her not to worry too much about her pimples. He explains that she should stop touching them repeatedly as it only makes things worse. The story continues as Elliot reminds her that having pimples is completely normal. Every teenager experiences them. Hearing this, Ridley feels a bit better. Soon, we learn that Ridley's mother passed away some time ago, and since Ridley doesn't like being alone, she often accompanies her father to work so she can spend time with him. During the drive, Elliot receives a call from the man he was supposed to meet for the business deal. The man angrily yells at Elliot for being late. Elliot apologizes and tries to make excuses, but luckily, the phone signal drops, and the call gets disconnected. He sighs in relief and increases his speed, hoping to reach the mansion in time. However, suddenly, an animal runs across the road, and Elliot's car collides with it. The car spins out of control and stops at the side of the road. Once things calm down, Elliot checks on Ridley and asks if she's all right. Seeing that she's okay, both step out of the car to see what they hit. When Ridley looks closely, she's shocked. It's not an ordinary animal, but a strange horse with a single horn on its forehead. Even more surprising, blue blood is oozing from its wound. Elliot, frustrated about being even later now, grows angry, but Ridley is mesmerized. She has never seen such a creature before. At that moment, the unicorn's horn begins to glow faintly in a soft blue light. Without thinking, Ridley moves closer and touches it. The instant she does, she begins seeing strange, vivid visions. Mysterious scenes she can't understand. Her vision turns blurry, and everything fades for a moment. Then she hears her father's voice and snaps back to reality, only to find Elliot striking the creature repeatedly. Ridley screams and begs him to stop, but Elliot doesn't listen until the horse finally stops moving and lies dead. A while later, both reach Mr. Odell's mansion, where Elliot is supposed to finalize his deal. The shocking part is that Elliot has brought the dead unicorn's body with him, hidden in the trunk of the car. Parking outside, Elliot steps out and enters the mansion. Inside, he meets Odell's son, Shepard, and shakes his hand. Then he greets Odell's wife before finally going to Odell's room. Elliot apologizes for being late, explaining the delay. It turns out that Odell is seriously ill, living his last days. Elliot tries to sound sympathetic, hoping Odell will forgive his lateness. Meanwhile, Ridley can't stop thinking about the unicorn and what happened on the road. Odell notices her distracted state and gently asks if she's all right. Ridley lies, saying she's fine. At that moment, Shepard joins them and casually asks Ridley about the pimples on her face. Before she can reply, Elliot interrupts and tells her to go wash her face in the bathroom so she'll feel fresh. But in truth, he just wants her out of the room so she doesn't accidentally ruin his deal or mention the incident with the horse. Ridley leaves the room, but as she walks away, she keeps glancing nervously toward the car, clearly uneasy. One of the mansion guards notices her strange behavior and senses that something's off. The guard quietly walks to the car and gets the feeling that something suspicious is hidden inside. Meanwhile, Ridley reaches the bathroom and washes her face. When she looks into the mirror, she's stunned. All her pimples are gone. Then she glances at the towel and notices blue stains, the same blue blood from the unicorn. At the same time, Odell sits with Elliot, explaining that he has tried every possible treatment for his illness, but nothing has worked. He admits that he's accepted his fate and is simply waiting for death. Odell says he's finalizing this deal to secure his company and protect his family before he dies. He also tells Elliot that he's entrusting his son, Shepard, to him. Back in the bathroom, Ridley still can't believe what's happened. Her face is clear and glowing. She realizes that the unicorn's blood must be magical. It can heal any disease and restore health. At that moment, the unicorn's horn in the car trunk begins to emit a faint glow again. When Ridley returns to her father, Elliot tells her to meet Odell's family. Ridley refuses, but Elliot insists, saying this deal is the biggest of his life. When Ridley asks about the horse, Elliot promises that if she listens to him and meets Odell's family, he'll fulfill her every wish, even help her bury the unicorn. But before their conversation can end, strange noises come from the car. The unicorn's body starts moving again. Elliot rushes to Odell, apologizing and saying he must leave immediately. He insists on taking Ridley home because she looks pale and weak. Odell gets angry, accusing Elliot of never keeping his commitments and tells him that leaving now would be a huge insult. Just then, a guard approaches Ridley, asking why she looks so frightened. Before Ridley can respond, a loud noise echoes outside from Elliot's car. Everyone runs out in shock to see what's happening. Suddenly, the unicorn bursts out of the car, alive again, smashing through metal and glass. Everyone stands frozen in horror, staring at the terrifying creature. The unicorn looks monstrous now, its once glowing horn flashing fiercely. The guards panic, and one of them fires a gunshot straight at the creature. The unicorn collapses, dead once more. Elliot is left trembling, unable to understand what's happening. Panicking, he finally tells Odell and his family everything, what really happened on the road, and how the unicorn died and came back to life. Everyone was shocked hearing Elliot's words. No one could understand what had really happened or how that horse had even reached there. No one could figure out whether the creature was actually a horse or a unicorn. That's when Ridley decided to tell the truth. She told Odell that it was the blue blood of that unicorn that had completely healed the rashes on her face. Hearing this, Odell was stunned and asked if she had felt anything strange in her body. Ridley replied that everything was perfectly fine. Ridley then said they should contact the animal organization so that they could come and take the horse away safely. But Odell refused, saying that if the government got involved, they would misuse the creature for their own benefit. He insisted that he alone would handle this situation. Later that night, Elliot went to his daughter's room to check on her. When he saw Ridley sitting quietly, he asked why she looked so sad. Ridley told him that when she touched the unicorn's horn earlier that day, she saw some strange visions. Elliot didn't believe her and said she must have imagined it. He told her to stop worrying about those things and focus on completing their deal, which was the most important matter right now. But Ridley was deeply disturbed. Within a short time, she gathered some information about that magical horse. She discovered that it was part of an ancient legend. A royal family once kept it, and when they learned of its magical powers, they decided to kill it to gain its strength. However, sometime later, the horse came back to life and took revenge on every member of that royal family. Reading this terrified Ridley even more. That night, when she went to sleep, she had a terrifying dream. In her dream, she saw herself running through a forest, but when she looked down, she realized she was inside the horse's body. The sight horrified her, and she woke up in fear, unable to understand what was happening. As soon as she opened her eyes, she saw a group of strange-looking people standing in front of her. They captured her and her father, Elliot. It turned out those people were scientists whom Odell had called to run tests on Ridley and Elliot to find out what effect the blue blood had on them. After the examination ended, Ridley went to speak with her father and told him everything that had happened the previous night. Elliot told her to forget everything and stop thinking about it anymore. Meanwhile, when the doctors completed the examination of the horse's blood, they found it extremely unusual. That blood had the power to cure any human illness. The scientists informed Odell and suggested that to confirm this, they would need to test it directly on a human being. Hearing this, Odell became overly excited and decided that the experiment should be done on himself. After a while, the doctors prepared the magical blood and injected it into Odell. Seeing this, Ridley panicked and told them it was wrong, then ran away into the forest to calm herself. Meanwhile, the scientists began examining the horse's body and discovered that its veins were still active, meaning they could continue extracting blood from it for a longer time. On the other side, Ridley was wandering through the forest when she suddenly felt as if someone was watching her. She looked around but saw no one. Frightened, she ran back home. That night, Elliot visited Odell to check on him and asked how he was feeling. Odell said he was feeling much better and believed the treatment was working. Hearing this, Elliot became happy and wished him a speedy recovery. Meanwhile, Ridley was still researching the magical horse, trying to gather more information about it. At that moment, Odell's son Shepard saw her and decided to help. He gave her his printer so she could print out all the pictures and notes of the horse for better study. After helping Ridley, Shepard left, but suddenly his father, Odell, appeared in front of him. Odell now looked perfectly healthy, even better than before. He immediately gathered all the doctors and ordered them to extract as much blue blood as possible from the horse so that the cure would always remain available, and he himself could keep using it. He added that if this cure became public, its price would skyrocket, but the doctors warned him that it wasn't possible. The blood had a time limit, after which it became ineffective. Meanwhile, Ridley was horrified by what she had seen happen to Odell. Yet she gathered her courage and returned to her research to uncover what was truly happening with that horse. After several hours, Ridley discovered something terrifying. She rushed straight to Odell and begged him to listen carefully. She revealed that the medicine he had taken was incredibly strong. Though it worked for a while, if he took too much, it could kill him. Ridley also explained that for centuries, people had used the same horse's blood, just as Odell was doing now. But every time they met a terrible fate because the horse always came back to life and killed them. As expected, Odell ignored everything she said. Instead, he declared that he would present the horse to the entire world and told her not to interfere again. Ridley was heartbroken by his behavior. A little later, Odell's wife followed Ridley, comforted her, and promised to find a solution somehow. After that, Ridley, upset and angry, sat inside her car, feeling betrayed because even her father, Elliot, didn't believe her and sided with Odell instead. Meanwhile, Odell and the other doctors began preparing the horse for transport. They sealed it inside a large bag to take it out of the mansion and move it to the city. But just as they were getting ready, the mansion's electricity suddenly went out. At that very moment, the device near the doctors started beeping rapidly, a strong signal indicating that the horse was still alive. At the same time, Ridley, who was sitting inside her car, stepped out and looked up at the sky, where strange glowing colors had begun to appear. Elliot rushed to the doctors to figure out what was happening, but no one seemed to understand the situation or offer any answers. Suddenly, one of the doctors was killed, struck by the horse's horn. Upon closer inspection, Elliot realized that the horse responsible was not the one they had killed earlier that day. It was an entirely different horse. The guards fired their weapons repeatedly, but the horse was unaffected. It was immensely powerful, and one by one, it began taking down all the guards. Seeing the chaos unfold, Elliot immediately called out to his daughter Ridley, instructing her to get into the car and leave the area. As soon as Ridley was inside, the horse charged at the vehicle, attacking it with full force. The guards tried to stop it using their advanced weapons, but nothing worked. Ridley quickly exited the car and ran for her life, but the horse pursued relentlessly. She finally sought refuge in a stable-like structure, yet even there the horse reached her. Strangely, as it came closer, it suddenly calmed. Its horn began to glow with a bright light, signaling that something extraordinary was about to happen. Ridley cautiously reached out and touched the horse. At that moment, a female guard arrived with the others and opened fire on the horse. Despite their efforts, the horse eventually ran away, leaving an eerie calm in its wake. Once the situation settled slightly, everyone returned to the mansion. Ridley, furious, confronted her father, Elliot, shouting that she had warned him multiple times, yet he never trusted her. Elliot continued to disregard her warnings, following Odell blindly. Ridley pleaded with him to return the horse to its parents, insisting it was the only way to prevent further disaster. Elliot also prepared to go after them, but Ridley tried to stop him, crying and begging him not to enter the forest. As always, Elliot refused to listen. He insisted he couldn't let Odell go alone. Meanwhile, Shepard went to the doctor and secretly took a sample of the horse's blood. He believed that if he used the blood, it would give him immense strength and allow him to face any danger. Shepard created a special liquid from that blood and began using it on himself. But the moment he did, strange transformations started happening to his body. He couldn't understand what was happening to him. At the same time, Ridley also started sensing something terrifying. She sat in her car, planning to run away, but at the last moment she changed her mind. She didn't want to abandon her father. Just then, Ridley saw a strange glowing light in the sky. She immediately stepped out of the car and ran toward the mansion. Ridley rushed inside the mansion to check her research papers, hoping to understand what that strange skylight meant. After searching for a while, she finally discovered the truth. Terrified, she immediately called her father Elliot and warned him that he and the others needed to return to the mansion right away, because the horse had set a trap for them deep inside the forest. If they reached that spot, none of them would survive. But Elliot didn't answer her call. So Ridley ran to the mansion guard and urgently explained how serious the situation was. She told him that they had to act immediately, otherwise everything would be destroyed. She insisted he contact everyone in the forest at once, because they were in extreme danger. Meanwhile, the doctor was trying to cut off the horse's horn, but something strange kept happening. The horn continued glowing as if it was filled with some kind of energy. On the other side, Elliot finally received Ridley's messages, but by then it was too late. The horse appeared in front of them and launched a brutal attack. One by one, it killed all the hunters. Elliot used night vision goggles to locate the creature precisely. He grabbed Odell, and somehow the two of them managed to escape. They fled the forest and reached the mansion, but the danger wasn't over. The horse followed them all the way to the mansion and broke inside. As Elliot and Odell tried to escape, another horse appeared in their path. Now 2 horses surrounded Odell from both sides. Odell tried using his cleverness. He spoke to them calmly, using gentle words. One of the horses began to relax, but the moment Odell tried placing his hand on its glowing horn, the second horse rushed from behind and attacked him. Odell was killed instantly. At that moment, Ridley arrived carrying the baby horse. Her plan was to return it to its mother and father so they would calm down and stop attacking humans. But even after witnessing everything, Elliot still refused to believe her. He insisted that he would call the police and let them handle the situation. But the moment he pulled out his phone, the network vanished completely. Everyone inside the mansion began to panic. Even Odell's wife told Elliot that they should listen to Ridley. She said the best option was to return the baby horse to its parents. Even as Elliot hesitated, Odell's wife made the final decision. She ordered the guard and the doctor to take the baby horse outside and hand it over to the two adult horses waiting there. But the real mistake had already been made. The doctor had cut off the baby horse's horn before stepping outside. She thought it wasn't a big deal and assumed the other horses wouldn't notice. Moments later, the guard and the doctor stepped outside and placed the baby horse in front of its parents. But as soon as the two adult horses saw their child and realized its horn had been cut off, they lost control. One of the horses immediately attacked the doctor and killed her. The guard witnessed everything and barely managed to escape at the last second. When the rest of the group learned what had happened, Shepard said that only Ridley could calm the horses long enough for everyone else to escape. Elliot was shocked and asked why only Ridley. Shepard explained that the horses would never harm Ridley. She was the only human who never desired their magical powers. Everyone else had tried to exploit them. Everyone else had tried to exploit the horse's powers, but Ridley was the only one who had always tried to understand it. The situation was becoming even more terrifying. Elliot finally panicked and went to Odell's wife, saying he didn't want to be involved in any of this anymore. He admitted it was all their fault, and now they were the ones who had to fix it. Meanwhile, Shepard's body began undergoing strange transformations. Bright light started shining from his eyes, and it seemed as if some unknown force had taken control of him. As Ridley and Elliot tried to escape, Shepard suddenly appeared in front of them. He grabbed Ridley, and just when he was about to harm her, both adult horses arrived. They had come looking for revenge on Shepard. Seeing an opening, Elliot and Ridley escaped through one path, while Shepard and his mother ran through another. They still carried the baby horse's horn with them. Along the way, Shepard's mother asked him what his plan was now. In a cold tone, Shepard said he wasn't planning to run away. He intended to capture both horses and then use their child to create new magical powers so he could become the strongest being alive. But then Shepard checked his device and was stunned. The baby's horn was missing. The truth became clear. Elliot had stolen the horn. Elliot was now sitting with Ridley. He was filled with regret, apologizing to his daughter. With teary eyes, he admitted that he had always given more importance to work and never listened to her, even when she warned him again and again. He repeated his apology, saying he finally realized how wrong he had been. His words touched Ridley deeply, and crying, she hugged her father tightly. At that moment, Shepard and his mother arrived in the hall, searching for Elliot and Ridley. After a brief chase, the horses caught Shepard's mother and killed her. Meanwhile, Elliot locked Ridley on the balcony so the horses wouldn't reach her. He then ran out purposefully, drawing the horses' attention toward himself to give Ridley a chance to escape. Ridley tried multiple times and finally managed to climb out of the balcony. As soon as she stepped outside, she saw the horse chasing her father, ready to kill him. She was about to run toward him when Shepard suddenly appeared. Holding a bow and arrow, he threatened Ridley and forced her to come with him. Helpless, she followed Shepard to the courtyard where the baby horse was also present. At the same moment, the father horse arrived. Furious and ready for revenge, he glared at Shepard, but the instant his eyes shifted to Ridley, his anger slowly melted away. He approached her gently and lowered himself at her feet as if he trusted her completely. Shepard took advantage of the moment. He rushed forward and tied a rope around the horse's leg to restrain him. Ridley shouted at him, warning that he was making a huge mistake and that he shouldn't do this. But Shepard, as always, ignored her. Arrogantly, he said he knew exactly what he was doing and no one could stop him. Suddenly, another sound echoed. The mother horse had arrived, and to everyone's shock, Elliot was with her. He had used the baby horse's horn to gain control over her. But the surprising part was that the moment she approached Ridley, she too calmed down and lay at Ridley's feet. As soon as Ridley stood near them, both horses became completely peaceful. Shepard saw this opportunity and rushed forward, attempting to tie the mother horse's leg. Enraged, Elliot struck Shepard with the horn he held. But Shepard was no longer fully human. His body infused with the horse's blood made him immensely powerful. He blocked Elliot's strike and counterattacked with the same horn, knocking Elliot to the ground. Ridley ran to her father, crying uncontrollably as he bled profusely. Before she could react further, Shepard raised the horn to finish Elliot. In that instant, the father horse broke free from his ropes. He charged with full force, kicking Shepard violently. Shepard flew through the air and landed lifelessly on the ground. Elliot, barely alive, held Ridley's hand and with a weak voice, asked her one last question. What had she seen the first time she touched the horse's horn? Through her tears, Ridley explained that she had witnessed strange visions, the horse trying to show her its origins, its world, and its pain. She also saw memories of her mother, moments long lost. Elliot smiled faintly, looked into his daughter's eyes, and asked for forgiveness. Moments later, he breathed his last. Ridley held him tightly, unable to believe she would never see him again. Then, a miracle happened. The father horse approached Ridley calmly. Together with the mother horse, they combined their magical energy, creating a radiant light. The small horse's broken horn healed, and within moments, Elliot's wounds began to close. Slowly, he opened his eyes, alive. He could now see everything Ridley had seen, the visions, the memories, and the truth of the magical world. Elliot embraced Ridley tightly, their eyes filled with relief and joy, as if everything had been restored. Just then, the mansion doors opened. Guards and police entered, searching the premises. There were no horses in sight. The authorities accused Elliot and Ridley of harming Odell's family, but neither felt fear. They were simply grateful for having helped the magical horses and preserved their world. In a surprising turn, the horses chose to aid Elliot and Ridley rather than punish them. Using their powers, they made the police lose sight of the pair and safely transported them to a secure location. With that, the story concludes. Elliot and Ridley are free, and the magical horses return to their forest, restoring peace to their world. Wow, what an incredible journey! From magical horses with unimaginable powers to heart-stopping moments of danger and courage, Elliot and Ridley showed us what it means to believe, fight, and protect the ones you love. If you loved this adventure, smash that like button, share the excitement with your friends, and let us know what part of the story blew your mind the most. Your support keeps these magical stories alive.